and welcome back to the Let's Navigate and Explore podcast, episode 2, in which we feature Adarius, a young YouTuber car fanatic. We talk about Ford's latest models, such as the Mach-E and the Bronco, and we get to know him just a little bit better, so hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. Alright, so 3, 2, 1, and welcome back to the episode 2 of the Let's Navigate and Explore podcast. This episode, we got a special guest. We have Adarius, a YouTuber, a car fanatic. He does car reviews. He jumps from, dealership to dealership in South Florida. Basically anyone and everyone who gives him the okay to, basically let him, review cars. And one more little thing about you, Adarius, that you want to share with our audience today.
So it's nice being on the podcast here at Ford of Kendall. I'd like to give a special thanks to Chris and the general manager Steve for allowing me to come and talk on the special podcast today. So my thing, what I would say about myself is actually like doing what I do, talk about cars, different cars that hit the market, helping people out of an older generation that doesn't have the opportunity to come to dealerships and see what kind of cars they want, from the base model all the way up to the high trim models. I film any brand, any car that whatever dealership allow me to come film, that's what I do for them. And this is honestly my everyday job, and I like what I do. I don't have to wake up. I wake up anytime I want. I don't have to go to 9 to 5, which is a blessing. I mean, I can work from home. I can work at a different dealership. I edit my own videos. So basically everything I do is in-house for myself. It's a company that I built about 2 years ago, going on 2 years in 2018. I built it with my friends, and then I kind of like I led it on with basically the help of my cousin and with Chris and everyone else that allowed me to film videos at different dealerships. So that's kind of a little intake on like what I did, like coming from point A to point B.
Right, so special shout out to Ford of Kendall, also Doral Lincoln. That's where I met Adarius. We met at Doral Lincoln, and just him and his basically family, friends, and they will talk to our GM at Doral and Miguel Otero. Shout out to him. We'll lend him a car. They do their own thing. They talk about the car. They do comparison models as well, comparison videos. So basically what we're going to focus on today is more on the Ford and Lincoln side.
Right. And
we'll talk about, the special cars that are coming out for Ford, especially the Mach-E and the Bronco. So let's first talk about the Explorer. Darius, side note, this is the car that my wife wants. Right. She's eyeing this car hard.
Okay.
We got a baby at home.
Right.
She likes the space. She likes the 3 rows because her thing is when the in-laws are in town, she has enough space to fit everybody inside, regardless if they want to take the family out to do, shopping, sightseeing. There's enough space to fit everybody in.
Other competitors like the Honda Pilot, the Chevy Traverse, I can't remember some majority of the other one competitors, but those are just the main 2 that I can think of right now. But thinking about talking about the Explorer, honestly, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed what Ford did. They kind of messed up the launch, like basically the reveal of the Explorer. That they kind of hated themselves for that because it was supposed to be announced at a certain time, but ended up coming out way before. So the release of the vehicle was kind of a messed up. But I feel like Ford is selling a lot of them because here in my local area, I do see a lot of Ford Explorers.
Right, definitely.
I see a lot of them. I see the ST. No, that's one that I kind of don't really see a lot. I see the XLT. That one, that's kind of like the entry level of the what you call it. But it does offer 300 horsepower, which I think is pretty damn good. Oh, pretty good. I'm sorry. I think it's pretty good. But talking about the exterior design of it, it looks very handsome. It looks different from all the other competitors that's out there. Like I said, the Pilot, the Traverse, and it has 3 rows of seating. But one thing I'm not gonna like about it is the 3rd row seating. I think the cushioning is just a little too small for my taste. I'm only 5'8", and when I sit down, I feel like I'm sitting a little too low to the ground. But it does fit everyone of a wider frame, smaller person. It does the job just fine. And I think the powertrain that powers the vehicle, which is a 3-liter, is pretty good. Like I say, 300 horsepower is plenty enough for your family. But if you want a little bit more, that's where you get the ST that has the big bad engine in it. That's 400 plus horsepower. So I think. Ford, like I said, they kind of messed up the launch with it, but it's paying off in the beginning because, like I said, I see a lot of Explorers on the road here in South Florida.
Right.
So I know a lot of people are buying them like crazy. I know you guys can't really keep a lot of stock because when I first came and I did a video here on the Explorer, I had to come real quick, and I remember when I got done, somebody ended up buying it. It was a platinum trim.
There you go.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was like so in love with the vehicle, just the way it looked. It shows you like what Ford is going with their new design, basically. And kudos to Ford, they're doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? But they're doing better with fuel economy, design-wise, interior. A lot of people don't like the infotainment system, which is a 10.1-inch display, which is like a vertical style screen, like an iPad.
I seen that, yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but honestly, I like it. It doesn't get into the driver's eyesight when they're driving, but
it's not too much?
Yeah, it's not too much. I think it's okay. I think it's a pretty good size because it's probably one of the biggest screens out of the other competitors.
Right.
Everyone offers an 8-inch, 9-inch
right.
display, and I think Ford is the only one that's offering a 10-inch display when it comes to the infotainment system. But Ford, does, every manufacturer has their own eras, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think with the
Would you do it differently? Would you have a smaller screen, or is that screen,
I think,
does it work for
it works for me,
Explorer?
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, like I say, a lot of people criticize and say, oh no, it's too big, it's vertical, why is it not integrated into the dashboard? But like I said, I think it's pretty good. But on the lower trims, the 8-inch display is a little too small for my taste. So maybe they would have gave it a 9-inch display, you know what I'm saying? It would have been a little bit better. But I think the 8-inch is a little bit too small if you go for a lower trim. But I think they priced it just right with the other competitors, because the Chevy Traverse can top easily over $50,000. So go for the higher trim levels.
So as a YouTuber, and you're driving around, you're seeing so many different types of cars. What's the thing that catches your eye that says, okay, this works, and this is definitely something X car is doing better than the competition? What's something that stands out to you?
Design wise, right? Because my thing is, it's basically like a needle in a haystack. If there's a haystack and you're looking for the needle, you're gonna pick the Ford out, the Explorer over the Traverse, because it looks different than everybody else. So that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody else has their own design language, but the Explorer stands out of the crowd.
Which is the best car you reviewed? Like, the one that you've been most impressed?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I would say, as of the year 2020, I reviewed
any
year. Since I've been doing this for the last 2 years, I want to say, dang, Chris, you put me on the spot. That's a hard one.
That's not hard at all. Come on. There's always that one car that stands out above all.
Okay, I'm gonna say, out of car wise, I'm just breaking down different categories. Out of car wise, I'm gonna say the Honda Accord Sport. I think that looks good. It looks different from the Camry. It looks different from the new Sonata. The Sonata is kind of not the best looking car because of the headlight design that they have going on, but I see where Hyundai was going with that. But I would prefer the Honda over the other competitors. But SUV wise, I like the Chevy Suburban, the redesign that they have coming out. Mind you, I think the Expedition looks good too, but I can't wait to see what Ford has to offer, because I know Ford is going to come out and try to overpower Chevy with the new design. So that's one thing that I can't wait to see. But I think the new Expedition design, it looks good. It looks classy. It looks like, you have money. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not cheap vehicles. 3-row, fit your family.
Definitely.
You can tow with it. You know what I'm saying? So you can do all this versatility. And still haul your family around. But
does that compare to the Escalade? As far as SUV, 3 rows, of course, but just maybe in the kind of luxury aspect, does it, would you consider, if someone asks you, like, hey, we have the Expedition, but we also have the Escalade, are you looking twice? Are you comparing, or is it okay? No, because I know one is Ford and the other is Escalade, and kind of the Escalade has that higher class aspect. But would you consider?
Yes, I would take the Expedition over the Escalade, just because I would save a couple $1,000, because the Escalade starts off around, the newer model starts around like $77,000. So
of course, just like the Navigator.
Right, correct. So that's what the Escalade will compete against, which is the Navigator, and at that point, I would pick the Navigator over the Escalade. Honestly, I would. Okay. But the Expedition, I would say I would pick it at the top trim, because it's basically all stick around the same thing, $77,000. But I would rather pick the, I forgot the car name already, the Expedition over the Escalade, just because I can save a couple $1,000.
Of course. Okay. So any other vehicles that stood out to you? Doesn't matter, maker model, like any model. Any car that you've got in there, did review, did your small little test drive, and you're like, whoa.
The Ford Escape, because I remember when I did the Ford the EcoSport, I remember they were just delivering one of them, and I was like, I remember I was talking to one of the sales reps here, and I was like, dude, no, it's right there. And he was like, oh, let me just try to take it off, out of the shipment mode, and we could give it to you right then. And when I drove it, I was like, yo, I'm impressed. I was really impressed because, mind you, I've been dying to review this car for the longest because it rides on the same platform as the Lincoln Concierge. So I'm like, let me see what the Ford version is like. You know what I'm saying? And then I reviewed the Lincoln Concierge. I was impressed too because the same powertrain, different. They probably tuned it a little different, but I was actually impressed with the Escape just because it was a compact SUV, and I was like, "Yo, Ford did their thing." So when I first seen it, I was so excited. So that I wouldn't say out of the cars I've been doing, that's probably one of the most when I was kind of excited for it to actually see to come out.
That's good stuff. So let's talk about more, American muscle.
Okay.
So Ford is coming out with the Mach-E.
Right.
I'm in the social media. I'm reading the comments. I'm seeing the feedback. A lot of people don't like it. Because it doesn't look like a Mustang. It's not gonna feel like Mustang.
Right.
Inside it has that big Tesla looking screen as well.
Right.
It looks more like a mid-size SUV.
Right.
But I want your take. What's your take on the Mach-E?
Honestly, I do see some designing cues from the current generation Mustang. A lot of people, like you said, don't like it because they're like, oh no, it's not actual pony car anymore.
Right.
And that. But mind you, it's the future. So everyone has to get used to electrification because every car manufacturer, BMW, Chevy, Cadillac, all of them are gonna make electric vehicles. So either you get the program or you don't. So either you're gonna be left behind and you're gonna come along with everybody else. But I still see a lot of designing cues from the Mustang. I don't think it looks really good, honestly. I actually like the Mach-E. It was gonna compete against the Tesla Model Y.
Right.
And the Model Y, I think Tesla didn't put any effort into it whatsoever because it looks like a Model 3. It just and basically in SUV form. So I think Ford is gonna outsell Tesla. I believe that they will because of design cues. Honestly, that's why people buy cars because the way they look. I think some people buy cars for the way they look. Some people buy it for performance. Some people buy it because how much it costs and it can fit their pockets. But I still think
it's gonna be fast.
Yes, it is. I know
how many horsepower.
I gotta take my cheat sheet out real quick, guys.
We're googling right now.
We're googling
right now.
But I know they're gonna have a lot of trim levels, like the California edition.
Right.
They're gonna have the first edition, if I'm not mistaken. But the Mach-E.
As you Google, what's your thought on electric cars? Just
honestly, okay. I'm glad.
Are you a fan?
I'm glad you asked me this question.
Are you a fan or not?
I'm gonna break it down to you real quick. Honestly, I like electrification because it's gonna help our planet in the long run.
Of course.
Instead of all this pollution and all this. I'm a kind of
100% agree.
I'm an Earth person, so I like my planet. And I want my grandkids and their grandkids to see how everything goes. But at the end of the day, it's like we were kind of risking everything by burning, and polluting the world. You know what I'm saying? But that's how they've been doing it for 100 years. So now I see that everyone wants electric cars. So my take on that is, I like electric cars, but the thing is, it's just the simple fact of the range is not long enough. With gas-powered cars, you can go 600-700 miles on a full tank. With electric cars, you go a quarter of that. I know with the Tesla Model Y or the Model 3, I'm sorry, I think it goes like 370 something miles of range or something like that. My thing is that's not even from Miami to Orlando. You're gonna have to stop and charge. So my thing is with gas-powered cars, it takes less than 5 minutes to fill your car up and you're gone. You have to stop for another 300-400 miles, after you fill up, whatever the case is. So my thing on electric cars is they need to make a faster system of charging the cars within like 0 to 100 in like 20 something minutes, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, gas powered cars are gonna rule until there's no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my take on that. I feel like that they should
that's
work
very
on
interesting.
Make new technology to charge the cars a little faster.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the DC charger, ports like that to charge the cars a little faster. But mind you, gas powered cars, you go to the pump, pay for it, fill it up, and you're gone. Less than 5 minutes. So if they can get it down with the electrification, hey, dude, gas powered cars are gonna be extinct. Basically, that's how.
Then why not just emphasize on hybrids?
Correct, but a lot of people don't like hybrid cars. And a lot of people don't like electric cars. And then you have people that don't like gas cars. I'm like, what do you people like, man? But me personally, my cousin, she owns a Model 3 Tesla.
Okay.
And the thing is, I remember when she went out of town for like 4 days, she came back home, her car was completely dead. Mind you, the car is never turned off. It seems like it's turned off, but it's always running.
Right.
So my thing is with that is, I remember when we went and she didn't charge the car one night, and we were like on like 5%, and it was like range anxiety. It was like, oh my god, how are we gonna make it to this charging station with 5% of charge?
Mm-hmm.
But we actually made it, and we sat there for like I want to say 30-40 minutes to get the car like 50%. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So mind
Wow,
you, it's
30-40 minutes just to get
like,
50. Okay.
Right, it's time consuming. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? So
right.
my thing is with gas powered cars, like I said, they're always gonna win. That's
Right.
how I look at the situation. So, unfortunately, right now, I think electric cars are cool, and so is hybrids and plug-in hybrids as well. But like I said, gas cars are going to always win until they come out with a newer technology to make the cars charge a little faster, which they kind of have now, but just to beef it up 10 times more.
Right. Okay.
But looking here at the Mach-E, I know they have one. It's going to come in two forms, with a all-wheel drive and a rear-wheel drive. And of course, if you get the all-wheel drive, it's going to kind of like lower your range to make it like real slower, because the all-wheel drive system is always going to be working a lot, so it's going to kind of depreciate the battery.
Okay.
So if you get the rear-wheel drive model, you're going to have a little bit more of range, and Ford is giving you a tax credit of $7,500. So if you do buy it,
That's right. That's right.
So with
So
electric
if you're
cars,
eco-friendly,
Right.
basically the government, says thank you.
right? It was like, well, thank you for doing such and such and helping the environment.
Right.
But looking here on the actual Ford website, they have one that starts at $43,895, which I think is a pretty fair price, because you have some Mustangs that kind of like top in at that point, or you have some that's a little bit more expensive.
Of course.
I know the GT500, that's like $100,000 Mustang. I've heard they have a carbon fiber package on that thing, and that thing is like $10,000 plus. So I'm like, if you option your Mustang, and you can spend about $100,000 on a Mustang.
People will spend
Yes.
50, 60, 70
So
thousand dollars.
I feel like they should be spending $50-something thousand on the Mach-E. I honestly think it's a very attractive SUV. Like they have the California RT1 edition.
So that's the thing. Do you consider it an SUV?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah, because you have cargo, you can fit additional 5 people. In the Mustang, everyone knows about the Mustang's backseat. You cannot fit a full size adult. It's only reserved for kids. But still,
And this is from a father. Like I will not put my kid in a Mustang.
Right.
Regardless. That's just personal opinion.
Right.
But yeah, it's like kind of reserved just for 2 people, just to be comfortable.
This is for your spouse, basically.
Exactly.
Whatever the case is. If you guys want to go on
Or your
road
racing
trip-
buddy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You guys want to take it to the track. But I think the Mach-E is going to have a lot of versatility. Basically, cargo, you can fit 5 people comfortably, because like I say, with the coupe Mustang that they offer, the back seat is too cramped.
Right.
Like I say, I'm like 5'8". When I got in there to do a couple videos, I was like, oh my God, Ford, stretch the wheelbase a little bit more interior space. You know what I'm saying? But it's really mainly for the driver and passenger.
Right.
Like you say, to take it to the track, or go grocery shop, just for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not for a family vehicle.
Okay. So from the Mach-E, let's talk a little bit about the Bronco. The Bronco has been a little more quiet, right? Because the infamous Bronco, everybody remembers this one from OJ and him going crazy on the highway.
Yes.
during his time,
Right.
when basically he was like on top of the world, and then the things happened. Everybody knows what happened, but Ford is bringing it back. What's your take on that?
I actually like the sport trim Bronco. Honestly, the Bronco hasn't been on the market since 1996,
Right.
and I'm 23 years old, so it's the same time as the Bronco has been gone from the market. So we're kind of in the same age range. But I seen some leaked pictures, and I know Ford is kind of mad because somebody in their lineup, that basically worked at the facility, ended up sharing pictures on the internet. So I know Ford wasn't a little too happy with that. With the pandemic happening, they were supposed to release the car in April as a reveal. But somebody took it upon themselves, just because the coronavirus is going on, and they leaked the pictures to the internet, and that was kind of like a crazy thing. So when I seen the pictures of the Bronco, I just like the sport model better. It looks more like a Range Rover. A competitor, it's gonna compete against the Defender. So I hope Ford gets the articulation right when it goes like off-roading, because that's where the Defender excels at, with which is off-roading. So. And it's going to be a Jeep Wrangler competitor too.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. So I'm actually Googling and looking at some pictures right now. It does look a lot like the Range Rover.
Right.
Also, the funny thing about it, the Lincoln Aviator also looks like the you see it down the road, and then if you're not familiar with the Aviator,
Right.
and you're looking at it from a distance, it kind of looks like a Range Rover. You're
Correct.
like, and then you drive by it, and
it's a Lincoln. It kind of surprise you.
No, but the Aviator, side note, it is insane. It's
Yes.
a tank. It's
Yes.
beautiful from the outside to the inside.
Correct.
Lincoln, kudos to Lincoln.
Right.
They really outdid themselves with the Aviator. It is, if you haven't seen it, Google it, test drive one just for the experience, because this vehicle is a monster.
And I'm telling you right now, I reviewed, I think 2 or 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken, guys. And I was impressed every time I reviewed it. Mind you, my opinion on it was always the same. Nice design, great powertrain, a lot of cargo for your family, just like the Explorer. I think you can fit 5-6 people in that thing. Going on a long road trip, you have to worry about, I'm cramped in the back row, I'm cramped in the second row. It's a lot of space for everybody in your family. So I was very impressed. And Lincoln is doing their thing too. They have the Concierge GT, basically, which is a hybrid powertrain that's coming out as well for 2021. So Lincoln's doing their thing, Ford is doing their thing.
For sure.
All
And
the
also,
manufacturers are doing their thing, with the hybrid powertrains, for the government safety, try to, go with their regulations. And also, another side note, I know this is not about the topic, but Ford has electric F-150 coming out too.
That's another piece of news that we've heard.
Right.
Lincoln also is coming out electric with fully electric. I've heard rumors for the Aviator and the Corsair.
Correct. Yes.
So hopefully 2021, 2022 we're gonna have a fully electric. Don't quote us.
Right, don't quote us, because we're not too sure, because the information could be wrong.
And with everything that's going on, everything's basically, the whole country, the whole world
Basically is on pause right now.
Exactly. So let me show you a picture of the Bronco. It looks like it's bubble wrapped. You could basically just Google Ford Bronco and you'll see this picture.
Right.
What do you think about it? It doesn't look attractive.
No.
But Ford is doing thing. It's basically just like a prototype. Not the finished product, but just by looking at it, what do you think?
My first impressions is it reminds me of a box. I'm gonna be honest with you. It reminds me of a box. With all the cladding here in the picture, you guys can check out motor1.com.
Yeah, shout out to motor1.com.
Yeah. You guys can look at the picture and you guys will see what you're talking about. But it does look like a box on wheels. But I think if the cladding and stuff wasn't there, I would say that it would look very attractive. But I know Ford, like I said, they're competing with the Jeep and the Land Rover Defender. So you can take out the doors, the roof. So you can get more of like an airy, like kind of cabin, more lighting and stuff like that. So that'd be a plus. But my first looks on it, I think it looks very attractive, honestly.
Yeah.
I really think is that if the cladding and stuff wasn't on it, then I would like see the exterior paint and see, get my final judgment. But one of my favorite trims that I've seen so far was the Bronco Sport. Mm-hmm. Now that looks like a Escape, but kind of find out it rides on the same platform as the Ford Escape or the Ford Ranger. One of those two, it rides on the same platform as. So they kind of shrunk it and kind of made it a little longer. But they have a lot of versions of the Mach-E. They have a lot of versions of the Bronco coming out that I heard. They have the baby Bronco. They have the Sport.
Yes.
They have the bigger one. So it's going to compete with a lot of off-road vehicles like the Jeep, the Land Rover Defender, XYZ. So I think it looks pretty good, honestly.
So we're close to wrapping this up. What vehicle are you looking forward to? What vehicle in the market, regardless of car, make, whatever. Right. What are you looking forward in the future? What's something that's you have your eyes on right now?
The Mach-E, honestly.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because, like I said, I like electric cars, and I like what car manufacturers are doing. And like I say, it doesn't. Well, some people don't consider it a Mustang anymore, but I consider it a Mustang still. It's just the electrified version of the pony car. Mm-hmm. But design-wise, it looks pretty good. I can't wait to actually drive it and see how it feels for myself. Yes. So I about to say, look, there's one right there. That'd have been so cool if it was. But honestly, I think I'm really looking for that vehicle, honestly, to come out and to see how it performs and handles. Because like I said, I drove a Model 3. And like I said, it's the same thing as the Model Y, just an uplifted basically like the SUV version of it. So I'm kind of looking forward to basically driving that vehicle.
Cool. All right, so before we wrap it up, tell us where we could find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Drive On Reviews, and also on YouTube at Drive On Reviews as well. Like I say, I do all kinds of videos. I do this is my first podcast, so this is my first podcast here, guys. So honestly, I was kind of nervous.
We're learning as we're going. Definitely. But this is fun.
I'm sorry, but you guys can find me on those two social media platforms. Write me, Let me know how you guys thought about the podcast. I'm kind of nervous a little bit. You guys can't really tell, but I'm trying to get the hang of it a little bit. But you guys can follow me on there and check out some of my videos that I have. I did plenty of videos here for Doral Lincoln as well, and also the Ford of Kendall, Volkswagen, Chevy, XYZ, because I can go, it's a long list. I don't want to bore you guys too much, but yeah, I've done plenty of videos like that. If you guys want to check me out, just follow me on YouTube or Instagram at Drive On Reviews, and you guys can just follow me.
Appreciate it. So, thank you for taking the time. We'll wrap it up with this. So, shout out to Barstool. I see their videos online, and they have ask the internet questions, kind of weird questions. So I picked 3 random questions. Don't worry, they're PG.
Okay. And by the way, I never heard of this before, so I'm kind of excited to see what the questions are.
So there's 3 of them.
Okay.
Read them out loud, and I want to hear your answer.
Would you rather A, get paid $1 million a year, but have to work ridiculous hours, or B, get paid $100,000 a year for doing nothing? I'm gonna go with B, because that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm doing my YouTube thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with B, because it's kind of what I do now. So, I'm doing something, but I consider it nothing.
Okay.
Number 2, it says you have a choice 3 animals to start a zoo. What are you choosing? Ooh, this is weird, guys, but my favorite animal, honestly, is a crocodile. Oh my God, I think crocodiles are so cool. Crocodile would be number 1. Number 2 would be a Bengal tiger.
Okay.
And number 3, I would say an elephant.
An elephant.
Yeah, I go to elephant.
All right. Shout out to elephants.
Shout out to them. Okay. Who is the worst group of fans? Ooh. What does that mean? Like people wise, or
I guess
I would say
city wise,
who is the worst group of fans?
Because the Cleveland gets a bad rap. Then you get the Dallas fans, the Dallas Cowboys fans, and then
the Yankees.
Yankee fans.
I'm gonna go with the Yankees.
Yankees,
Guys. Mind
worst
you,
ones.
I played baseball in high school. I didn't make the team, but I played it. But I'm gonna say the Yankees. Some people in New York, they
don't play.
No, they're not nice people at all. But I'm gonna go with the Yankees. Yeah, I think that's the worst team.
All right, cool. So, thank you, Adarius, for coming out, for doing this short little podcast. I hope you had fun. Check them out on YouTube, and check me out. We're wrapping it up. Let's Navigate and Explore podcast. We'll see you on episode 3.
All right, thank you guys, and I want to give a special thanks to Chris and Steve for allowing me to come there for the Kindle. You guys be sure to check them out. Very humble dealership. Very nice people. You guys come buy a car from them, guys. Come buy a car.
We are open.
Right.
We are open. We haven't closed.
0.72 off MSRP. You know what I'm saying? 4 months of payment, 6 months of payment.
Let's go.
You guys can't beat that deal. Buy a car now. It's the best time to buy a car.
It is.
Yes,
With everything that's going on.
Yes.
Ooh, we need to sell cars.
Houses, everything. But catch you guys in episode 3.
Later. Bye.